Are you curious about how your job fits into Canada's immigration system? Maybe you've heard about something called TEER Categories and wondered what it all means for your application. Well, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving deep into the new TEER categories that are shaping how Canada classifies occupations for immigration purposes. Whether you're planning to apply through Express Entry, a provincial nominee program, PNP, or just want to better understand where your profession stands, this video is for you. So, stay with us, because by the end, you'll have a clear understanding of TEER categories and how they could impact your Canadian immigration journey. Hello and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, this is your go-to place for everything related to moving to and living in Canada. We provide the latest Canadian immigration news, helpful tips, and in-depth guides to make your transition to Canada as smooth as possible. Make sure to check out the links in the description for free resources and guides that will help you along your journey. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you stay updated on all things Canada. Now, let's get into it. So, what exactly are TEER categories? You might have heard of NOC codes before, which have been the backbone of Canada's immigration system for years. The National Occupational Classification, or NOC, is a system used to classify jobs based on the type of work a person does and the skills required to do it. But recently, the system has undergone a significant transformation, and that's where TEER categories come into play. TEER stands for Training, Education, Experience, and Responsibilities. These categories have been introduced to provide a more nuanced classification of jobs, taking into account the varying levels of skill, education, and experience required. In essence, TEER categories are the new way Canada is categorizing occupations for immigration purposes. If you've been following the NOC system closely, you'll know that it is used to classify jobs into 5 levels. With the introduction of TEER categories, we're now looking at 6 levels, each one offering a more detailed breakdown of what's required for different types of work. But don't worry, NOC codes aren't going away. They're still very much part of the system. What's changing is how these codes are grouped and classified. Under the old system, jobs were grouped into 5 skill levels, labeled as O, A, B, C, and D. Now, with the TEER system, these have been expanded into 6 levels, numbered from 0 to 5. This shift is actually great news for many people, especially those in occupations that were previously classified as lower skilled. Under the new TEER system, some of these jobs may now qualify for Express Entry and other immigration programs, opening up more opportunities for skilled workers across various fields. So, how do these TEER categories work? Essentially, each occupation is evaluated based on the training, education, experience, and responsibilities it requires. For example, TEER 0 is for management occupations, which usually require significant experience and often, but not always, higher education. TEER 1 includes occupations that typically require a university degree, while TEER 2 covers jobs that may need a college diploma or apprenticeship training. TEER 3 might involve more technical or skilled trades. TEER 4 could include occupations needing a high school diploma or job-specific training. And TEER 5 typically encompasses jobs that require short-term work experience or on-the-job training. This new system offers a more refined way of categorizing jobs and is particularly relevant for anyone applying through Canada's immigration programs. For instance, if you're applying under the Canadian Experience class, one of the pathways within Express Entry, your work experience must fall within specific TEER levels to qualify. Previously, under the NOC system, only jobs classified as O, A, or B were eligible. Now, with the TEER system, you'll need to ensure your job falls within TEER levels 0, 1, 2, or 3. This is important to keep in mind as you prepare your application because it directly affects your eligibility for Express Entry and PNPs. One of the key benefits of the TEER system is that it can potentially broaden the range of occupations eligible for immigration. For example, under the old NOC system, certain jobs were classified as C or D, which made them ineligible for Express Entry. With the new TEER system, some of these jobs have been reclassified into higher TEER levels, making them eligible for immigration programs they previously didn't qualify for. This is especially beneficial for people working in industries that require specialized training but may not have been recognized as skilled under the old system. Now, you might be wondering, does my tier level affect my chances of being selected in the Express Entry pool? The short answer is no, it doesn't. While your tier level is crucial for determining whether you're eligible for specific immigration programs, it doesn't influence the number of points you receive in the comprehensive ranking system, CRS, used by Express Entry. As long as your occupation falls within the required tier levels for the program you're applying to, you'll be considered eligible. The CRS score, which determines your ranking in the Express Entry pool, is based on factors like age, education, work experience, and language proficiency, not your tier level. But what does this mean for provincial nominee programs, or PNPs? Just like with Express Entry, your tier category plays a vital role in determining your eligibility for PNPs. Each province has its own set of criteria and requirements, and they use the tier system to assess whether your occupation qualifies under their specific streams. For example, British Columbia's PNP operates on a points-based system similar to Express Entry, where your tier level can influence your points. However, just because you qualify for a PNP doesn't guarantee you'll be selected. You'll still need to meet the province's specific requirements and have a competitive score. So, how do you find out which tier category your job falls into? It's a straightforward process, but it does require some careful attention to detail. The first step is to identify your NOC code. You can do this by visiting the official government website, where you can type in your job title to find the corresponding 5-digit NOC code. Once you have your NOC code, you can use it to check which tier level your job belongs to. The government provides a matrix that links NOC codes with tier categories, making it easier for you to determine where your occupation fits. But here's where it gets a bit tricky. Sometimes, you might find that your job title doesn't perfectly match any of the available NOC codes. If that happens, don't panic. Look for the NOC code that most closely resembles your job title and duties. The key here is to focus on the job description and responsibilities, rather than the title itself. When you click on an NOC code, you'll see a lead statement, which is a brief description of the industry and the type of work associated with that code. Below that, you'll find a list of main duties, which is the most critical part of the NOC code. Why are these main duties so important? Because when you apply for immigration, you'll need to prove your work experience by submitting letters of employment. These letters must include your job title, employment dates, and most importantly, a description of your job duties. Immigration officers will compare the duties listed in your letter with those in the NOC code to ensure they match. This is why it's crucial to choose a NOC code where you can confidently say you perform at least 51% of the duties listed. It's not about finding a perfect match. Few jobs will fit every bullet point exactly, but rather ensuring that your job duties align closely with the NOC code you select. Another common question we get is about the education requirements listed under some NOC codes. You might see that a certain NOC code requires a specific degree or qualification, and you might wonder if you're still eligible if you don't have that degree. The good news is that the education requirements listed in the NOC codes are not always applicable to immigration programs like Express Entry. These requirements are often more relevant for other government programs, like Labor Market Impact Assessments, LMIA. For Express Entry and PNPs, what matters most is your work experience and whether your duties match the NOC code, not necessarily your educational background. Now, let's talk about the practical steps you can take if you're struggling to find the right NOC code or tier category for your job. The first thing to do is to take your time exploring the government's resources. Use the search tool to find NOC codes related to your job title, and read through the lead statements and main duties carefully. If you're still unsure, consider reaching out to a professional for guidance. We recommend working with regulated Canadian immigration consultants, RCIC, who can guide you with your application and help you identify the most appropriate NOC code for your situation. Sometimes, all it takes is a 15-minute consultation to get the clarity you need to move forward with confidence. For some jobs, the process will be straightforward. For example, if you're a registered nurse, your job title will likely align perfectly with a specific NOC code, making it easy to find your TEER category. But for others, especially those with more unique or hybrid roles, it might take a bit more effort to find the right fit. Remember, the goal is to ensure that your work experience is accurately reflected in your application, which increases your chances of success in the immigration process. As we wrap up this video, we want to leave you with one final thought. The introduction of TEER categories marks a significant shift in how Canada's immigration system operates. While change can be daunting, it also brings new opportunities, especially for those whose occupations may not have been eligible under the old NOC system. By understanding how TEER categories work and how they apply to your situation, you can take proactive steps to ensure your application is as strong as possible. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you found this information helpful and that it gives you a clearer picture of how TEER categories could impact your journey to Canada. And remember, if you want to stay updated with the latest news, tips, and advice on moving to Canada, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Thanks again for watching.